New at 6, a Channel 2 Action News investigation finds a Fulton County judge raising issues now about a plea deal for a repeat offender. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie is live in downtown Atlanta. And Mark, the victim in this situation was visibly upset.
We sent documents and a link to a hearing to a former prosecutor to make sure we were getting it right. And he says clearly the judge is concerned and he understands why. But the DA, in an email, is telling her side.
Got DNA, cell phone records, and video footage.
They robbed me, they beat me up, they hit me with the gun, they stole my money, they took all the keys to my cars and stopped my business, for almost, 3 months, and I'm suffering from that. I'm not accepting it, Your Honor.
I'll note that if the district attorney is concerned, that the bench here in Fulton County is soft on crime. This offer did not come from the bench.
A plea in front of Judge Scott McAfee in Fulton Superior Court by Robbie Lewis. Charge records indicate with a list of serious crimes. But Judge McAfee seemed to sort of communicate his own plea to understand why Lewis was getting the negotiated plea deal he did.
If the state could just walk me through the basis for the reduction. I mean, I'm familiar with the facts of this case, and I'm familiar with Mr. Lewis's history. I think this is the most serious case I've seen trial division have maybe in the past year.
They hurt me so bad.
Chakram Moshiri Xavier said by phone he was pistol whipped, beaten, kidnapped, and driven around for about 45 minutes and robbed of $4,000 and the keys to dozens of cars after defendant Robbie Lewis and another man showed up at his Roswell car dealership in July 2024. We got pictures via text. In a negotiated plea for charges including robbery by intimidation, kidnapping, false imprisonment, aggravated assault, and more, Lewis got 10 years to serve in prison, plus 10 years probation, plus 5 years suspended, says former DeKalb DA Robert James, to whom we sent records we obtained and a link to the hearing. But he says because Lewis was a recidivist, a repeat offender, he could have gotten far more if he'd been convicted of armed robbery, which was reduced, and the other charges to which he pled guilty, and had the state not withdrawn its recidivist notice.
If the defendant had been convicted, he would have received a life without parole sentence.
An email from Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis said, in this case, the defendant was sentenced to 25 years to do 10 years. He will serve every day of 10 years in a Georgia penal facility because he pled guilty to kidnapping. It added, a judge is ultimately always responsible for sentencing. Clearly, Judge Scott McAfee thought the sentence was appropriate because he accepted the sentence and made no amendments as he has the legal authority to do. And it said, this resolution guarantees this defendant is out of our community for a minimum of a decade. If he violates the law in any way in the next 25 years, he will gain more time in custody.
If the offer's been conveyed and we're on the eve of trial, then at this point, probably Mr. Mitchell's relied on it, and we have to hold the state to that offer, because the defendant would be prejudiced otherwise.
James says records we sent him showed the DA's office had already cut Lewis a break in another case, helping to get him out of prison early from a long drug sentence. James says he agrees with that move under the circumstances, but disagrees with giving Robbie Lewis even another break now.
The terms of the plea did not require him to say who the other guy was in the robbery, right?
Yeah, they didn't, and that's confounding.
Now, the sentence was dated June 13th. A June 16th document and other information indicates the state moved to dismiss all pending counts against a co-defendant, citing evidentiary concerns, and the judge granted it. Robbie Lewis's attorney, Kenneth Mitchell, said he respects all parties involved. His heart goes out to the victim, and he advocated the best he could for his client, but he cannot speak to what went into the prosecution's thought process on the plea deal. Reporting live in downtown Atlanta, Mark Winnie, Channel 2 Action News.